What's going on, everyone? How are you today? Coffee with Brodes. It's been a bit. It's been a whole week. It feels like it's been 10,000 years, honestly. But I want to thank everybody for over the past week and all the support and the crazy response to, filling in for Mikey Miss on Friday. What was that? Last Friday. And filling in for Gargano was a great time. I appreciate that. That's why we didn't have Coffee with Brodes for the whole week. But here we are as we get ready for football season, as we dive into the birds, as we settle in for an Eagles-Falcons week, and we're going to start breaking things down this week. I'm really looking forward to it. Oh, by the way, the Phillies are on a run. Oh, by the way, the Phillies are 1.5 games back, and they also have a spot in the wild card, too, the wild card race, I should say, as well. So there's a lot of action as we enter September and flip the sports calendar. It is indeed pumpkin spice season. That is what we have right now. I have a full pot. That is correct. You heard me correctly. A full pot brewed of pumpkin spice that's going to be sitting there on the heater all day long. For whenever I walk by, I just give myself a little more. A few weeks ago, I tried to convince Mother Nature that it was time for fall by wearing long pants. Did not last very long. It got way too hot. Had to go in another direction. Here we go, though. Here we go. It's that time of the year. So cheers, everybody. Thanks for joining into Coffee with Brodes. I'm excited to kind of get things going and really picking things up for the football season. I'm really excited for it. Cheers. Let's enjoy this coffee. I feel awkward holding it where you guys can't see the monkey. Right? Here we go. Cheers. Enjoy your first sip. Oh, that's a good punch. That's a great punch. So, Jim, Christian, Arm Zebra, Adi, Joseph, MJ, Logan, Aaron, Marco, Jason, Bucks, Ryan. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there. What's happening? Where do you guys want to begin today? Because we also have Kanye and Drake, which I'm extremely passionate about. And I actually have a blog written up about my thoughts on Donda that I will be releasing this morning. I'm looking forward to that. Just a couple little things I got to maneuver around and just a few things I got to update. But I will be posting that after Coffee with Brodes. It's about 99.7% done. Just a few tweaks that needs to happen. How about the Flyers? Well, I mean, look, with all due respect, I know you're a hockeyman. I know you're a hockey guy, but on today, the Flyers probably isn't where my brain is going here, with all due respect. You know what I'm saying? I actually think Donda's better. See, I don't need it to be this or that, really, because I like both albums. At the end of the day, I got 40-plus tracks of music that I thoroughly enjoy. A little long on both sides. I think a lot of that has to do with the streaming aspect of today's era, where you get all these numbers with more tracks because it's more streams. So artists are utilizing that to their advantage to get numbers and yada, yada, yada. But anyway, I enjoy both. I like both a lot. With that said, though, if I had to choose between the two, and I had at least a week to digest Donda, I haven't had as long to digest Certified Lover Boy. I'd probably say Donda is my favorite of the two, but I like both. I enjoy both. CLC, now we go the opposite side here. CLB is greater than Donda. Donda, it's about an acquired taste. If you're just a casual listener to rap music, then Donda's not going to hit you. You need to be really thinking about the beats, the production, the samples, the sound effects in there that they utilize. Like Travis Scott, right? The way that his sound and his voice is over top of the beat, and it's part of the music and the transitions, and that's all part of Kanye and the way that he has perfected the sound, the music sound. If you're just a casual listener to music, you probably don't catch up on those things. And that's why Kanye doesn't resonate with everybody. It resonates with the Kanye stans, that I put myself in that category. Yep, I agree perfectly, Adrian. You nailed it 1,000% right on the head. Donda is the better album, but CLB has the bigger hits. But I'll say maybe not the bigger hits, because I think the highs of Donda is better than the highs of CLB. But CLB is the more playable album casually. The album that you can just throw on. It's background noise. It's good music. Everybody likes Drake. There's good vibe to it, good rhythm to it. You could just play that, hit the play button, and have it go as if it's a playlist. While Donda, you gotta really embrace what's being said and how it's being delivered. All right, so we'll dive into all of it today. Christian wants to know about Bryce Harper MVP chance. So a few days ago, actually, I looked and he was maybe fourth best odds. I'm going to look again right now. We can utilize our DraftKings Sportsbook and use promo code Brodes when you sign up for all fantastic, beautiful odds and promotions boosts. But if we go to MLB and we go to Player Awards and we walk on down to the MVP, right now, Bryce Harper has jumped Max Muncy. He's jumped Freddie Freeman. So Fernando Tatis Jr. is minus 300 to win National League MVP. There's actually pretty good odds set on Harper if you want to try and snag it at plus 600. That's not bad odds. Like, that is good. That is a good shot. It really is. So he jumped Freddie, he jumped Max Muncy. I just feel Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to get it with the home run numbers. I know he's got the errors, and he did have some time with an injury, but ultimately, you have yourself an MVP caliber season with those bombs and everything else that he's been providing on the base paths and so much more. He does have a chance, though, to answer your question. Yeah, I genuinely believe that he has a chance. He wouldn't have moved to plus 600. I bet you that creeps even lower and lower and closer to Fernando Tatis Jr., that is, where we're now talking plus 400, plus 300. I can see it for sure, especially if he has a 2-hit night tonight, or let's say he hits another home run tonight. You'll see it slowly starting to creep. So plus 600 in terms of value back, this might be your best opportunity to jump on that bad boy, considering how much time's left in the season and how well Bryce has been playing. Drew with a $5 donation. I know you're not in the hockey mind right now, but I feel like maybe Drew's last year of production before the decline really begins. Any thoughts? No, I disagree. He's basically, see, the thing is, what does the decline mean? If he's no longer a first liner and he's more a second or a third liner, is he really declining because you might not see the same amount of points, or is he still giving you the same level of play just in a lesser role? I mean, there's two ways to think about that, right? If G is still playing the same way and he's still giving you the same contributions, points per game wise, he's just not playing as many minutes because he's getting up there, but that adds lethal depth to a team. I don't necessarily, me personally, don't look at that as some insane decline that I should be worried about. If anything, I think, wow, you still have that level of production, but it's on your third line. That tells you more about your depth and tells you more about the style that you have surrounding Giroux, more so than it says about Giroux not being good enough. I honestly sense, even though I know that him and his agent and the Flyers have stopped talking for this year, I feel it's an assessment year for G. He's going to figure out where they are, the direction of the team, which right now under Chuck Fletcher seems to be heading in the right situation, right direction. And once he figures that out, he'll possibly sign for just less money and be a Flyer for life. That's how I honestly see it. But no, I'm not insanely worried or insanely scared. If something does happen and it is bad, let's say it is bad. Let's say I'm wrong on this and he ends up being a horrendous hockey player, which I don't see happening, but let's say it does. Then he's no longer a Flyer, and then you don't really have to worry about it. You move on. They're not stuck. I'd be more afraid if they were stuck with a Jake Voracek contract, if they were stuck with a hefty price tag, $9 million, $8 million to G. But that's not the case, so I'm not really worried about much. They're in control here with contract-wise. Can Wheeler get the Cy Young? No, I think that's dipped off a bit considering where he started this August. But if you want me to look at the odds, I absolutely will. For the Cy Young Award, he's fallen pretty good. He's plus 700, but in front of him is Woodruff, Scherzer, Burns, and Walker Buehler. So you have similar odds in terms of the actual, like Bryce Harper's plus 600, Zach Wheeler's plus 700. It's close in range and odds, but you have more players to jump with Wheeler. You can make the argument after Woodruff's start, though. Is he really valued at 650 plus 650? Maybe not. Maybe not, but, there's too much in Bueller and some of these other names there's a bigger gap for Wheeler. So I would say probably not so much. MJ says, as a Braves fan, becoming a little bit worried. It really all depends on if you guys take advantage of bad teams. Braves have a tougher schedule. Yeah, but it opens up. I mean, the Braves have an easy schedule, too. Both teams have easy schedules. And to keep it 1,000% with you here, the Phillies have not taken advantage of the bad teams all season long. So to just snap your fingers and think magically they're just going to do it. They lost 2 or 3 to the Marlins. They lost 2 or 3 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They get swept by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Nothing should tell you that it's going to change and they're going to take advantage against the teams that they should at a high enough clip. So you talk about your Braves schedule. You kind of went through the gauntlet that was tough. Now you have the Nationals, the Marlins, and the Rockies, but this time it's on the road, and the Rockies blow on the road. They're fantastic at home. They blow on the road. Yes, you see the Giants, but after that, it's the Diamondbacks. And then it comes down to that Phillies series. There's a Padres series thrown in there, too. The Padres have fallen off a big cliff. And the Rockies, by the way, are 16-50 on the road. 18-50, excuse me, on the road. Yo, what's up, DJ? What's happening, bro? Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, man. Thank you. Yeah, it was a crazy ride for sure this past week, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, and the appreciation and the support from everybody has just been almost mind-blowing, to be honest with you. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hey, Brodes, watching you instead of paying attention in school. Well, hey, I don't know what to say. Thank you, or get back to the books. I mean, I can't be a hypocrite here. It's not as if I was diving deep into the books throughout my prime of my school career. So, hey, do what you feel is best. The words of the wise. Miles says, Phillies do not know how to win against bad teams. They do, just not as successful as they should. And now that it's gotten more into crunch time and it's got into more important moments, it's a lot different, right? If you lose to a bad team in June, it doesn't feel the same way when you're 3 games back to the Atlanta Braves and we're talking about late August baseball. The magnifying glass is now in play. The stress is now 1,000% more. So there's so many more angles to it when you lose later on. And yeah, you know what? They do beat up on the Nationals and they beat up on, teams that they should beat too, but just not high enough. You need to take advantage. The difference in being 3 games back, 2 games back, 1.5 games back, and 2 games up or 3 games up is the fact that you drop a series to the Pirates, you drop a series to the Marlins. That's why. That's the difference. That's why you are where you are as the Philadelphia Phillies. You could easily be 2 games up, 3 games up. And you're not going to win every game. That's not what I'm saying. But you can't drop a series. There's a difference between winning 2 or 3 against the Pirates and losing 2 or 3 against the Pirates. I'm not demanding sweeps against every single team. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not putting just insane expectations, 162-0. Without putting realistic expectations that you should beat a damn baseball team that's given up, that has a payroll of $6. You should be able to beat them. It's a joke. Let's talk wrestling. This is from Brock Lesnar. Well, I will say I saw what was trending on Twitter the other day. What was it? AEW. Apparently, they're making some big splashes in the wrestling world. It's been a long time since I've been involved in any sort of wrestling. Booker T, Rey Mysterio, John Cena. What else was around during that time? Triple H, of course. Undertaker's been around for 97 decades. Shawn Michaels. That was kind of my era. Edge, Randy Orton. But nowadays, it just doesn't hit the same. Adrian said, just looked it up. It's been about a year since I found your channel. I still remember looking up Eagles fans' reaction to week 1 last year. Time flies. That's pretty funny to think about, when exactly that moment was when you dialed in and said, aha. Here's Brodes, and we've come this far, and now it's 9:17 and a.m. in the morning, September 7th, and we talk sports every day here on Coffee with Brodes, and you're always flying in, so I appreciate that. That is pretty funny, though, that you remember that specific moment. What's your score prediction for Eagles week 1? Well, I mean, we're a little far out for predictions. We're always going to have football Fridays. So football Fridays will be more of that prediction-based show where we dive deep into the trenches and the matchups and how comfortable I feel in certain areas, how uncomfortable I feel in certain areas, and things of that nature. But I don't know. Let me see I guess today's just check the line day on everything because I don't even know, and shame on me, what the line is. And that'll give me more of an indication on how I feel about the Eagles. So the Eagles are, it's just, wow. It is your basic standard line of +3. The Eagles are +3 on the road. The Falcons are -3 at home. So that is the most standard basic line ever. I guess, you know what? If I'm being honest, if I'm being 1,000% honest, I feel the Atlanta Falcons win the football game. I do. I think you're on the road. It's your first game. Now, everyone's going to be rusty. A lot of players are going to need a few games, and this is around football, preseason or no preseason. It takes time to adjust your body and your mindset to being back in action. Plus, there'll be 60,000 fans screaming down your throat. It's been a bit of time since that has been involved in it as well. I sense an Eagles loss. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to dive into all that just yet. We'll do it throughout the week. But my gut tells me the Atlanta Falcons win the football game. Yeah, Jose says 3.5 dogs. On DraftKings, they're 3-point dogs. It's a pick 'em game to me. Eagles will get their first win of the season in Atlanta. Jose is going with that. And I think it's easy to just feel pumped up about football and claim that they're going to win. Mostly, I would imagine every team except for anyone who's playing the Kansas City Chiefs or some of the top tier teams in the league go into their first week on, you know what, I think they're going to come out 1-0. And you might be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong for feeling that way. I just think naturally as sports fans, we probably have this psychological effect that makes us believe in our team week 1 more than we probably should. And I guess you could say the same about Atlanta, but there's a lot more factors. Having a veteran quarterback that's been there, being at home and being the favorite, right? Like there's definitely angles to this that would make sense from an Atlanta team going up against a head coach that nobody knows about. That doesn't mean Nick Sirianni is going to be bad. Maybe that works to their disadvantage because there's not enough tape on what he likes to run and what his identity and what his beliefs are as a head coach, right? I mean, once again, there's a bunch of different angles to take, but yeah, it's interesting. That video Brodes put out when Harper signed was when I got into the channel. I knew he was nuts right then. You think I'm nuts, Jim? How dare you? I feel a little, I don't know, pain. I feel, I don't know, backstabbed. Call me Ben Simmons. No, don't do that. I don't want to be called Ben Simmons. That's a joke. I want to throw up just saying that. Ew, I'm sick. Sick. What? Why? Why would I say such a thing? I need a nice sip of coffee. That's what I need. Logan's saying the same thing right underneath you, Jim. I remember the first video I found of Brodes talking about Bryce Harper. Oh, no, nope, I lied. I had to continue the sentence. This is why when the teachers give you the test, they say read all the directions first, and they try and trick you where the final question is don't answer any of the questions except for this final one or something along those lines. I didn't read the full statement, so I'm an asshole. Logan says, I remember the first vid, Bryce Harper walk-off grand slam against the Cubs a few years back. That was one of the most electric moments in Philadelphia Phillies history, which, you know, is real. I know that sounds nuts. I know that sounds crazy. You have heartbreakers against, I don't know, let's say Toronto. You have great moments, let's say, oh wait, rain delay, doesn't matter, let's go. You got back to the World Series, Chase Utley in 2009, hitting bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. You got pinch hit, home runs. You got Joe Blanton. You got it all. That Bryce Harper one, though, is pretty damn epic and a crucial one, too. Obviously not the implications of a championship or playoff baseball, but that doesn't devalue how ridiculous of a moment that walk-off grand slam really was and how crazy that Chicago Cubs Phillies game was in general. Everyone's freaking out. Don't compare yourself to Ben Simmons. Ben, shoot a damn basketball. It's terrible. It's painful. All right, the 8 ball has a question here. Do I believe the Eagles can be a Cinderella team and surprise everyone? We really have a good team. I am actually concerned with our linebackers and wide receivers. We still need another one. I don't know if we really have a good team. See, I do hear that from the optimists out there about the Eagles. We might, but there's nothing to actually back that off of. You're just saying that because you want the Eagles to be good. So let me get this straight, right? In many different areas, we have no idea what they're going to be. We know nothing about Nick Sirianni. We have no information on Jalen Hurts. Not nearly enough. 4 games is not enough. And what he did in Alabama and Oklahoma is not the NFL. So you don't know about your head coach, your quarterback. Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Reagor are your 3 wide receivers that are extremely young and extremely raw. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has one of the most games played on your wide receiving staff. Miles Sanders has had insane fumbling issues and dropping the ball issues. That's your offense. Once again, they might be good, but we don't know that. We know nothing about this young core. We know nothing about this wide receiver core, head coach, quarterback. So I can't say they are really good. How do you know that? What are you basing this off of? We have no clue. And then as you allude to, the linebackers, yeah, they got shredded in the run game. And Alex Singleton was playing a lot in preseason. They got shredded downhill. And I'm worried about the linebackers when it comes to that middle side of things because they can run sideline to sideline. They're active. They can do that for sure. What happens when you have a hard-nosed running back that's willing to go through the tackles and pound right through the middle of the field? Guess what? You ever hear Zeke? You ever hear of Barkley? They can do it all. They're so damn versatile. But who's going to meet that guy in the middle? And yeah, you know what? Defensive line is strong. That we can support with knowing Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Hargrave, Kerrigan, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett. I really like what we have there in the defensive line, and I believe that's going to be the reasons why you're involved in football games without getting blown out. I'm not saying they're going to suck, but I just don't understand the optimism because we have nothing. We have nothing. Yes, I do know you, the Joe Show. Okay, you changed your name. Understood. On paper, we have a good team, but after watching preseason, if our starters get hurt, I don't know how far we'll go. That's a lot of teams, though. Once you start getting extremely banged up in the NFL, how deep can you go? It's not normal and standard to have an obnoxious amount of depth behind you. You could probably do better in certain areas than the Eagles have right now. And with Carson Wentz's money and a lot being involved with the contract side of things, there's reasons why you're limited in certain positions. But yeah, I mean, do we have a good team on paper? We don't know. I guess me personally, I don't understand that. I don't connect with that. We're good. When I see this, we're good. What is Reagor? What is Watkins? What are they? You're just saying they're good and then that makes them good? You don't have a sample size of Julio Jones. You don't have a sample size of some of these wide receivers that's been in the game for 3, 4, 5 years that you can consistently rely on what they've done and say, aha, the average is 1,000 yards. The average is 800 yards. The average is X amount of receptions. He's done that for 6 straight years. Then I could justify saying, well, on paper, they're good because I've seen this player for 6 years consistently give you a reasonable amount of targets and let's say 800 yards. But I don't have that right now. So I'm excited to find out. I'm intrigued to learn. That's what the season's all about. It's a learn type of year. It's an education year. What do you have in this roster and some of these players? They might be good. Show me, though. I'm in show me mode. I think the reason they're saying they're good is a potential thing. Okay. All right. That's fine. I guess that would just be labeled differently then. They have the opportunity to be better than what people think, maybe. I don't know. They're at 6.5 wins. They're in that range. If you have 6, 7 wins or so, that's where I see them. Anything 9, 10, 11, 12, no, I don't want to hear that. I don't see that. They're better than what people think. Well, it depends on the timeline. If you're talking about what people thought 4 months ago, where it was going to be a 5-year window to rebuild and they weren't going to win a football game for the next 5 seasons, then yeah, they'll be better than that. They'll be better than that overreaction and that irrational thought process at the time. If you're talking about now, where people see them more in that 5, 6, 7 range, I don't know if it'll be better than what people think. That's probably the range that I feel most comfortable talking about. Yo, what's up, Fran? What's going on? Eric Wilson and Singleton to me are underrated linebackers. Add in TJ Edwards and run packages. See, the bar was set so low at Nate Gerry that you're satisfied with that because of what you're comparing it to. It's not the worst in the world. You're right with that. It's not absolutely garbage, just terrible. You're never going to be able to do anything with this. You can get by. But if you're satisfied with get by, and maybe that fits the mold of this year, considering the circumstances, then okay, I can live with it. I can live with it for a bit of time. Do I want to live with this forever, though? No. So I wonder if you feel this way because of what we saw last year. You had players lining up against Nate Gerry, foaming out the mouth of excitement because they knew they'd have 180 yards by the end of the first quarter, right? You're not going to have that type of damage done to you by the tight ends consistently. Let's hope and pray that's not the case. I can't imagine it being as ugly as it was last year. It's nice. It's okay. Based off of what you saw last year, I wonder if that's really playing a psyche with our mind. Donda is trash. I completely disagree with you. How many times did you listen to the full album? Did you listen to 6 tracks? Did you listen to it one time and then shut it off? Donda is not trash. See, if you understand music and sound, it's not trash. It might not be for you, but production-wise, it's not trash. It's not bad. Might not be your favorite, but in terms of factual information of the product and the sound quality and the production level of Kanye West, it's not trash. It's actually amazing. But I love that people listen to 6 songs, 7 songs, listen to the album one time, like as if you can ever really assess an album after one listen. Please, that's silly. Just say that. Then we have a continued message here. Meek Mill's single is better. Come on, bruh. We're better than this. We're better than this. We have a single from Meek Mill is better than an album of Kanye West. You learn something new every day. You learn something new every day. Justin mentioned Zach Wheeler's performance. That was the Zach Wheeler we all knew when we signed him. It was his best game lately. Oh, yeah, for sure. 6 innings, very strong. A really good amount of strikeouts involved. The Milwaukee Brewers look lost on both sides of the diamond, may I add. You know, you had mistakes all over the place. You got 61 mile per hour pitches once you got into the thick of things there with some, hey, just trot anybody out there on the bump. It got ugly for sure, but I loved every second of it. I have to jot something down here, though, about my Kanye post that I need to talk about. What's up, Amadeo? What's going on, man? What's happening? If Jalen Hurts plays bad, do you start Flacco or Minshew? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? What is the reason for this season? I just said it. Class? I feel like I'm a teacher right now. Class, what did I say? What is the purpose of the season? To learn, to get educated, to bring in all the information about players you're thinking about for more than just this year. I don't give a fuck about Joe Flacco. I know that he's washed up. I don't really care about Gardner Minshew. I care about who Jalen Hurts is. I care about if Jalen Hurts is our guy. I care about, are we utilizing those first-round picks next year on another quarterback, or are we going to help Jalen Hurts with pieces, playmakers, with defensive help as well? This season is all about learning who Jalen Hurts is, and I need 17 games to find out. If he stinks for the first 6, guess who's playing all of the 7th? Jalen Hurts. If he stinks in all 9, guess who's playing in week 10? Jalen Hurts. I don't give a damn about wins and losses this year. I care about finding out if Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback or not, and he gets 17 games to play. That's what it is. I know what Flacco is. He stinks. He's a backup quarterback who serves a role, but it's not about winning games. I don't care about winning games. I care about learning about Jalen Hurts, the quarterback. That's what it's about. Come on, man. That's easy. That's an easy one. All I wanted was the Phillies to be a contention on Labor Day. Well, they are. It might not be because of their greatness, but they are involved on Labor Day. There's so many things I go back and forth on when that's brought up. If I told you September 7th, they'd be 1.5 games back, how would you feel? Well, of course, from the surface, I'd be stoked, but there's plenty of reasons to not be stoked with this baseball team at the same time. If it was that simple, I would agree with you, right? I'd kick my feet up. I'd have my hands behind my back. I'd be relaxing, but that's just not necessarily the case here based off of the underachieving throughout the season as well. Jim thinks that Nola is sick of hearing about his September slumps. Hopefully he will begin to shut down the chatter tonight. We need the nasty Nola to be taken seriously. Well, I hope so. I know it's in there. I've seen it sprinkled through this season. Just haven't seen it at the big moments, and we're going to need him big time. Go win the series tonight. Win the series tonight. Now, I don't know if you're going to get 12 runs and explode the same way. If I was a betting man, I would say it would not go down that way. It will not repeat itself. But let's just look at it from the Aaron Nola angle. Give me something that afterwards, whether you win or lose, and I'll be frustrated for plenty of other reasons outside of what I'm about to say. But with Aaron Nola, my eyes on Aaron Nola, give me something where I can acknowledge and nod my head after the game and say, Nola, you did your job tonight. It was because, well, the offense fell asleep. It was because of the sloppy defense at first base. It was because of maybe the bullpen didn't hold their end of the bargain. But it's not because of you, Aaron Nola, that the team lost. I really need, and look, it's not about, at the same time with where you are this part of the season, it's not about moral victories. I understand that. But you had your 3 top starters on the bump for this series against the Milwaukee Brewers. Wheeler, Nola, Gibson. I want to see some tone setting from the 3 starters. That's something that I'm looking at. There's billions of things I'm looking at. But if I'm just angling in on the Phillies pitching staff, all right, Nola, show me something. Regardless of the win, show me something about your fight inside of you. I need to see it. 2 overrated players are Baez and Lindor. I think they're having bad seasons, to be honest with you. Like, I don't believe that Lindor is some absolute bum and stinks at the sport of baseball. You know where Javier Baez was with the strikeouts and with the power bat as well. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised with Javier Baez right now, but with Lindor, yeah, I think he's better than a 227 hitter, right? He's a 280 hitter throughout his career in 7 seasons. 227, it's more I'm chalking it up to a bad season than anything else. In terms of Baez, obviously there were years of greatness in there and it's dipped off a bit, but yeah, like his 290 year where he had 111 RBIs in 2018 was obviously special. He had an 881 OPS, 34 bombs that year, but he's a career 260 batting average type of player. And right now he's hitting 273 with the New York Mets, 253 total this year. He's kind of in range with what he has shown you over his 8-year sample size. Yeah, there were years that were higher, and there were the 2018 seasons where you go on a little bit of a run and whatnot. But ultimately, with Baez, this is kind of what I expect and saw from him. I didn't necessarily see this from Francisco Lindor. Nola at 105, minus 105 tonight. Can't pass up that line, though. All right, I'm with you. We'll see. I'll throw some cash on the Phillies tonight. I'm not a degenerate gambler. I don't label myself degenerate gambler. I label myself a smart, educated gambler, if you will. So I pick and choose my battles wisely. I can sense a Nola minus 105. Although, you're on the road. You're minus 105. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Right now at 9:37, I'm convincing myself that I'm looking into it. We'll see what happens by first pitch. Brodes, do you think the Sixers will be good this year? Well, you have Joel Embiid. It depends on what you mean by good. How do you define good? I think the whole Ben Simmons cloud will make this team miss the playoffs. No, stop. Do you know how bad you have to be to miss the playoffs? No, they're not missing the playoffs. Joel Embiid, and let's say it's Tyrese Maxey, Embiid, Seth Curry, Danny Green. Like, think about how bad the team was in the playoffs last year and how good they were in the regular season, being the first overall seed in the Eastern Conference, right? I mean, that tells you about what regular season basketball is all about. You're making the playoffs. You got Joel Embiid. You're making the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. You're not going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. You're not going to be the Brooklyn Nets. But come on, you're going to be able to take down those 8th seed teams. That's an overreaction big time to the Ben Simmons drama. Those teams, before you started the process with Iguodala, made the playoffs. You don't think Joel Embiid alone brings you to the playoffs? Of course he does. That's what superstar talent does. They bring you to a place here. But then you need the added bonus because once you get to the playoffs, every team at the top has their superstars. What separates you from the rest? And well, without Ben Simmons, yeah, you're still a playoff team. Am I going to do a Flyers video about Coots and Farabee? I was going to, but I think it's kind of lost its touch at this point. There's really not much to say about it with Farabee. He was a 20-goal scorer. They gave him $5 million a year, $6 million or $5 million a year AAV on a 6-year extension. Young player. We'll see how he grows. I guess I really don't have too much on it at this point, and it's been too much time to dive into it. Why is Real Muto struggling at the dish? He needs to step it up. This is kind of the JT Real Muto experience. This is why I didn't want to spend that much money on a catcher position. You know, if we dive through his stats and what he has been throughout his career. He's been in that the 1 year over 300, but he's a career 276 hitter. Right now, he's hitting 266. So he's not insanely far off to what he normally brings to the table. He's a good hitter when he's clicking. 278 back in 2017. That was after his 303 year. You hear best catcher in baseball, and it puts him in this degree of he's so elite, and he's so amazing, and he's so magnificent. He's having a bit of a dip, for sure. He's not that far off, though, of his career average and what he's been average-wise. It's a bit of a dip. It's a tiny bit of a dip, but it's not so far off where I'm just astonished. I'm just taken back. I'm just blown away. Why I was talking about it. And look, see, this is what pisses me off. Time to move JT to first base. Well, then you just admitted you fucked up. If you're paying JT Realmuto to play first base, you fucked up. You fucked up. You didn't pay JT Realmuto to play first base. You paid him to be the best catcher in the entire game. And guess what? He might not even be close this year. And guess what? You didn't use your money wisely. Signing JT Realmuto was a mistake. It was a mistake. And I said it at the time. This is not hindsight. Not hindsight. What was it like getting to interview Farabee? It was cool because it was in the moment. I thought it was awesome because that was the first time in my career where I've interviewed plenty of players. I've interviewed plenty of people, but it was planned out. You know, like, hey, I'll have you on at noon. I'll have you on at 3. I'll have you on at 5. This was my first time experiencing, hey, Joel Farabee just signed his contract. He's going to hop on. You're going to get him in 10 minutes. I thought that was the cool side of things where, all right, let's do it. You know, on the fly type of breaking news interview. That was my first time with that. So that's kind of why I thought it had a cool twist on it and a cool angle on it. For me, that's where I enjoyed it the most. They're just getting thrown on you like that. Hey, 10 minutes, Farabee's joining. He signed the contract. All right, cool. You know? But yeah, he seemed like a cool dude. I'm excited to see if he continues all that scoring and keeps up the trajectory. Because Travis Konechny did the opposite, right? Scored all those goals in the regular season, had a miserable postseason, couldn't score at all. He was getting shut down. And then last year in general, he had a bad regular season. So is this just paying? And look, you're going to pay Joel Farabee. I'm not upset with paying Joel Farabee. I'm just thinking of what I saw with Travis Konechny, what I saw with some young players taking steps back, even though Farabee took one forward. Is it fair to expect 20 goals from him every year? Is that the player he is? Is this just going to be one season that stands out? With Nola, that's what happened, right? And I'm not trying to look at it in a negative way. I just want to cover all sides here. Aaron Nola had a spectacular Cy Young caliber season, but that was 1 year, and that was the outlier that doesn't mix in with the rest, sticks out. Is this 20-goal season by Joel Farabee, which could have been maybe 26, 27, 28 in an 82-game season, going to stick out? Because let's be realistic, 20 goals in 82 games compared to 20 goals in the 56 games, that's two totally different sets. All right, that's different goal sets here. Like milestones, goal sets. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. That's two different milestones. So he was really on trajectory to be a 28 goal scorer or so, 27 goal scorer or so. That's a big difference. Is that really Joel Farabee? It could be. I think he's got the skill level to do it for sure. I'm not doubting him. I'm just asking the question. Noah wants to know what I think the Eagles' record is going to be this year. 6-11. I see the Eagles as a 6-11 ball club. Anything higher than that would be very nice, very solid. I'm pulling for it. I hope that happens. Right here today, before the season begins, and we're entering the week here on a Tuesday after Labor Day, I see 6-11. Over under 6.5. I'd go the under by half a game. Who do you think wins the NFC East, though? The 8-ball believes Washington 11-6. No way are they an 11-6 football team. I don't see it. Yeah, their defense is going to be solid, but Ryan Fitzmagic has never been able to provide that, right? I mean, I stand strong on track record. When has Ryan Fitzpatrick been able to hold on. Let's pull these bad boys up. I'll spitball you the records of Ryan Fitzmagic. 4-3, 5-8, 2-5, 2-1, 3-8. He did go 10-6 with the Jets in 2015. 6-6, 3-6, 6-10, 6-10, 4-9, 4-4, 4-7-1. His career 59, 86-1. He's a journeyman that has a role in this league. If that's going to be what you're trotting out there, thinking you're going 11-6, that's never happened in his career. The only time he went with double-digit wins and had a winning season in general, unless you count a 3-game sample size or a 7-game sample size, which is not enough to fully digest what he can be over a full 17. He's had one winning season of 10-6. Yeah, he's going to go 11-6 here. And yeah, I got you. The defense is good, but I don't see that. Eagles 9-8, Cowboys 9-8, Giants 7-10. I'm not as high on the Eagles as you are. I'm definitely not as high on the Washington football team as you are. But yeah, I could see the Cowboys maybe going 9 wins. I could see them going 10 wins as long as Dak Prescott's healthy. If Dak Prescott ends up becoming injured and having shoulder issues and maybe something happens with the ankle with swollenness involved and whatnot, then maybe it's not as good for the Cowboys. But if the quarterback stays healthy, I can see them winning 9, maybe 10 games, 10 games out of 17, going 10-7 and winning the division with that. Yep, I agree with Jimmy here. Not the other teams all being 7-10, but I do think that the 10-7 with the Cowboys win the division. That's how I see it. Brock says, I don't care about Washington's D-line. They stink. They're going 5-12. I guess I'm in that same range-ish. Let's look at their win total. Huh? I mean, let's put it in perspective here and follow the trend of the day. If you're looking at the NFL on DraftKings Sportsbook, once again, promo code Brodes when you sign up, and you look at the team futures. Wait, is it team futures or is it the season specials? Oh, no, team future. Oh, conference winner, division winner. I want it by games. Regular season wins. Here you go. Had to scroll over a little bit. All right, what team were we talking about? Washington, 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 Washington. The Giants are 7, and the Eagles are 6.5. So just to put it there in perspective with the Giants, the Washington football team's 8.5. Holy shit, that is high. Higher than I thought. So maybe I have to tweak what I feel because I put a lot of stock into Vegas. They can be wrong, and they are wrong sometimes, but they're right a lot more than they are wrong. So they're at 8.5, huh? Maybe I see them winning 8 games. I thought 5-12 was a little too much devaluing them, but I didn't see them in the 8-9 category either. But Vegas does have them in that range. And the over is the favorite at -120. So maybe 8. 8 and what would that put them at? 8-9? 8-9 for Washington. I guess I can see them in that range. And the Dallas Cowboys are, if I could find them, I guess I scrolled over them already. The Dallas Cowboys are 9. Whew. So they're telling you this thing is going to be a tight one. Not that it's surprising, and it's similar to last year where the teams aren't necessarily blowing anybody away with win totals and annihilating the division, but you're just being involved by default kind of thing. I'm surprised by the win total with Washington. I don't see it that high, but they see something I don't. Maybe it's more of an 8-9 thing, and then the Cowboys can win it with 10-7. So if it's Dallas 10-7 winning it, and then it's Washington in second place with 8-9, and then maybe it's a fight between the Giants and the Eagles for third place with 6 or 7 wins, and that could be the difference in third place. That's normally how I would see this thing breaking down if I'm going to digest. That's normally the road I'll go down here moving forward. We got a $5 donation coming in from Joey. Washington is so overrated. They are no more than a 9-win team with the schedule that they have this season. Cowboys and Giants have a shot to win the division. That's true. Washington does have a harder schedule considering they won the division last year and you have to play the first place schedule. Yeah, no more than 9 wins. I guess that's kind of basically, though, the range that Vegas is talking about. If you're set at 8.5, you're talking 8 wins, 9 wins. That's the range. So, Joey, they're basically saying what you're saying. No more than 9 in that type of ballpark. I guess if you want to look at this optimistically, if you're 6.5 and then the best team in your division is at 9, it could be a lot worse of projections. It's not as if you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs in your division. It's not as if you're playing Tom Brady's New England Patriots in your division. There's not one team that's sitting at 12.5 wins right now for the win total, and you're basically written off fully before the season begins. And there's a bit of me writing them off, but not fully 1,000% the same way I would if it was Kansas City or another explosive powerhouse sitting at the top of your division. So if you want to look at it with an optimistic viewpoint, it could be this simple. 6.5 and the gap to 9, it could be a lot worse. We've seen way bigger gaps in football, so take it for what it is. But thank you so much, Joey, for the $5 donation. Am I playing on Saturday for Nasty Knuckles? I have work, unfortunately, but I don't know. I might be able to squeeze by earlier before work. I'm on the radio at 7, but I'll talk to the crew. I'll talk to the fellas to figure out. Are you going, Chris? Are you going to the Nasty Knuckles ball hockey tournament that they're doing in Marlton? I just want to see our guys play well. I agree. You know, if that results in wins, it results in wins. If it doesn't result in wins, so be it. This year is a learning year. It's an education year. We're trying to just get data and information on who they are, what you have. Any team that has more than 7 to 9 losses have no business winning the division, let alone making the playoffs. Well, I mean, that's what happens every year. And that, I mean, that's, I don't know, because let's say a team wins at 10-6, right? People would, and this is before the extra game was added. If you go 10-6, that's a respectful playoff effort. Nobody's complaining that a team that went 10-6 is going to the playoffs. So you're telling me one fumble away and makes you 9-7 makes you that different of a team. Let's say one play changes throughout the entire season. The teams are exactly the same team all the way through both seasons. One team is 10-6, and one team is 9-7 because of a fumble late in one game. So they ended up falling and collapsing late. But everything else was the same exact. They're the same exact team. They just have one more loss added to their resume, but everything else was the same except for one fumble. You feel that differently about that team because of a 7th loss compared to 10-6. Like, I do think that can be taken way too far into an extreme here. I don't necessarily agree with that. That's the beauty of sports here with the divisions. You see the same thing all the time in baseball. Well, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs over the team that didn't win the AL East. Yeah, they do. Why? Because they won their division. They won their division. That's the job. Win your division. Take care of business in your division. Yeah, unfortunately, there's times where you get screwed out of a spot. We saw it happen before. Chip Kelly, 10 wins. Didn't get that opportunity. Yeah, it stings. It sucks. But what's the nature of the beast? Win your division. Get in. Control what you can control. Every team can do that. Once you start having to hope and pray on other teams, well, then you didn't do enough. Clearly, because you can control your own destiny right from the beginning of each season. Always. Yep, absolutely, 8-Ball. The Giants won the Super Bowl with a 9-7 record against the undefeated Patriots. It's a great point. There's something to be said about a 9-win team. They can do it. It's not that crazy. Yep, Nathan, also a fantastic point. I remember bringing this up heavily over the last couple of years with the 9-7 Eagles teams that made the playoffs. 7-9 Seattle. You get that home playoff game and anything can really happen. When you're at home, it's a different type of beast. It's a different type of atmosphere when you're playing on your home soil, if you will. If you're in the thick of things at home with the screaming fans, it's a different level. Yo, what's up, Philly Mike? What's happening, bro? Good stuff on the Fanatic. Wanted to call in but couldn't find time at work. I appreciate you listening, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. I can't express my love enough. Seriously, it's been a lot over the last week or so of just people reaching out and saying kind things. And Philly Mike, you're one of the best, man. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. Ben Simmons has the power, says Green. Flipping gears here to something so negative. How do we go from positive to negative so quickly? You mentioned Ben Simmons. Of course, Brock. Brock says Philly Mike is good people. Of course he's good people. Brodes, want to know which preseason cuts your move upset with. Wait, what? What? Well, I don't know. There wasn't any that was that sad about. There was only a couple that were talked about, right? It was Fulgham or J-Jaw. It was cutting Jordan Howard, but he ended up getting signed to the practice squad. And Richard Rodgers, but there's a veteran reason why that can happen, and maybe you look in that direction. But now Zach Ertz is in play, and he's going to stay. So there's nothing that I'm that upset about, that nervous about, that scared about. Yo, Bird Gang, what's up, bro? I'm going to get back to you today. I have it written down in my planner. I have a planned out weeks, as many of you know that I've shown you a billion times. You are on this bad boy. So I will be getting back to you with a date today. I just have to run through some things. I had some meetings changed, so I had to wait for some times to kind of be solidified. So then I kind of know my availability, but we'll connect, bro. We will. Appreciate it. What do? I have Phillies tickets for Sunday's game. That's tough because obviously, well, I hate to say this. I wouldn't go to the Phillies. If you want my honest, true assessment, I would not go to the Phillies game. I love the Phillies. I will have the Phillies on. I will be watching every pitch of that game the same exact time the Eagles are on. I won't miss a beat with this Phillies team even when the Eagles play. I'll be tuned in just like I am right now. With that said, I would not be going to a Phillies game the same exact time as game 1 of the Eagles. It just can't happen. I'm sorry. That's my true, honest thoughts. For real. I can't do it. Brodes, what are your top 5 athletes right now in the city or in general? Right now in the city, it's in no particular order. Joel Embiid, Claude Giroux, Bryce Harper, um, Brandon Graham, I'd say. And yeah, well, probably I'm thinking Fletch. I mean, that's one that really comes to my mind. I didn't say. I'm just waiting to see if there's anything else that comes my way that I'm missing. Is there an obvious no-brainer? Malcolm Jenkins would have been on it easily. I miss Malcolm. He was a big part of, Philly culture for so long. That's probably where I'm curious if I'm missing anybody. There's no one on the Phillies other than Bryce I feel that way about. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Am I thinking Carter Hart? No. Sean Couturier, maybe, but nah. Yeah, that's probably what it is. So Bryce, Claude, Joel, Fletch, BG. Do I think we can blow out the Falcons? I mean, anything can happen. Do I think it's going to happen? No. I don't even know if the Eagles are going to win the football game, to be honest with you. But a blowout, I mean, sure, I've seen crazier things occur. It's week 1. Nobody truly understands what each team is going to be like. But I don't anticipate seeing that happen. I'll say that. All right, so it's 10 o'clock now. I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out for the hour. We took a whole week off of Coffee with Brodes, a little more than a week off. So it's been nice. It's been refreshing to come back and enjoy this with you. It's like, wow, here we go again. Let's start this bad boy off. Let's get right back into the action. Of course, it tastes even sweeter knowing that 1, pumpkin spice is in my coffee mug because it's football season, and 2, the Eagles play on Sunday afternoon. It's going to be magnificent. We'll end on this note here from The Process. Donda, 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 Donda. What an amazing album. And if you don't appreciate it, I feel sorry for you that you're missing out on greatness. Be ready because very shortly I will be dropping a blog post on Donda. So be prepared. You'll find it on Twitter at Brodes81. With that being said, I love you all so much. Catch you guys tomorrow morning.